Yeah.
I was just looking through this the handover readiness document for UIM,
Okay.
and looking at some of the comments that I had there. A lot of the comments were saying that the content relates to RowPro. So,
Oh, is it?
is anybody looking at those comments to fix up this document?
Is it the comment given in the document itself?
It's in the document, yes.
Okay, I was not aware of that.
So,
Uh,
a lot of them, like especially towards the end, the ARM process, talk about the RowPro ops team doing stuff.
okay,
So I don't
maybe
know if that
maybe
process is specific to RowPro. It looks like that. And
yeah, process.
similarly, sorry, go on.
May, no, okay, I'm not very sure. Maybe you can have a look to the document during the first half of the discussion. You can show them where is
Sure.
the yeah, so they can do some changes over there.
You can maybe give me presentation rights in the meantime.
Okay, yeah, right. Archana, have you been able to catch hold of Irshad?
Yeah, he told he's connecting. Maybe his laptop issue, I don't know. Like he told he's connecting.
Okay. Archana, please check with Herman today. He is saying that there are some contents into the handover document which is related to or referring to ROPRO processes. Okay, just have a look to that.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Okay.
Ja, ek sien ons nog van my herhaling geskryf het oor. Maar as ek dit van diverge, dan gaan ons
This is a Oracle direct Oracle documentation is there, which will give a solution for means some generic issues, means like the common admin guide which is provided by Oracle. So apart from that, whatever specific to LNI implementation, we have prepared our documentation, but there is a Oracle provided document for UIM. So are you aware of that?
No, no, I'm not. The only
Okay.
documents that I have access to at this stage are the documents that you get on the
Right,
website,
right. In
which
the
is
SharePoint,
basically
we have
open
shared the
to
document.
anyone. Let me show you quickly.
Nou, dit is 4 by 8.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So basically this. Oh, there is a system admin guide.
Correct.
Yes, okay. So I have
Correct.
access to that, sorry. I could only remember the cartridges one, the web services developer guide, and the concepts one,
Yes.
and the installation. Okay, so you're saying that all
there is an admin guide
the
also.
system admin stuff is all in there, and
Yes.
there shouldn't be anything specific to Vodacom in terms of admin.
Mostly means
Okay.
like and specific to Vodacom, whatever it is there, we have given in the documentation, like a readiness document, how to start the server, how to like how what all the configuration changes we have done, what all the property files, like what we are referring, those things we are covered in the document, LNA documentation. So but some generic issues you can refer to this document, which is directly related to the product, not to the solution. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so I see it as sort of two topics. The one is the system admin stuff, but the other one is system configuration type stuff.
Okay.
So I asked for use cases for both of those. So even system config, like the one we discussed the day before yesterday, was,
Mm-hmm.
for example, how to add a new device type. So we
Okay.
discussed that already, not in, I don't think in enough detail yet.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, so that's just one use case. But I was asking for other use cases like that, things that I'm going to have to do that I know that I need to know how to do.
Okay.
Uh,
So, uh, adding new device model is not admin activity. It's like it's not a configuration change. Also, you have to do it in the design studio in the Eclipse. So it is some kind of a development, design and development is will be required. So in
Yes, yes,
UIM,
that I explained that part.
yes.
okay. So,
So, uh, so are we not? Are you going to continue doing that? Is that what you're saying?
Uh, so if some new models are coming into the picture, then we have to identify the models and have a like a design for that model. What is the physical view? What is the logical view? Then we need to have a have to develop a device model in the cartridge in the
Hmm.
UIM cartridge. Then we have to deploy it. So that is something not like a configuration change in some file or something. We have to develop, we have to do the changes in the cartridge. So it is like cartridge development guide is there, how to create a new model, etc., will be is explained there as a part of the design studio, like how to use the design studio, how to you do the development using design studio, how to what all
Hmm.
entities, how to create a new entity model in UIM, these kind of things. But if you want, we can give a like a demo kind of thing for these things, how to use a design studio, like one day we can spend on that
Yeah, Archana spent already
overview
the
of
day
design
before
studio.
yesterday. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, to be honest, at this stage, I'm not sure exactly, what my responsibility is going to be and where my responsibility is going to stop.
Yeah, I
I just
understand.
want to make sure that everything that is going to be my responsibility, that I understand,
Right.
what I need to
Right.
do and the process
Mm-hmm.
that you guys follow
Yeah.
at the moment every
So
day.
so 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 the system is just getting being used by the customer. So like there are operational activities, in the sense like if it is NI, there will be daily activities will be there to load the devices, to do the reconciliation and all. So it will be a day-to-day activities, and to there will be some file to be executed in UIM to get to load the devices. That is another use case is there, and other use case will be there to, if suppose let's say some G small world integration, some issue, some device creation failed, or some location creation failed, or in the case of raw pro integration, there's some reservation fail. So what failure has happened, you will have to debug it from the UIM logs and see, and you will have the web service project, and you will have to identify like where the actual issue is coming, and what is the whether it is a data issue or whether it is a code issue. In that case, if it is a data issue, what has to be rectified in the data, this kind of analysis will be
Mm,
required. Wha-
mm,
so that is something, one scenario. And other scenario is like a device model. If it is a new identified device model, there should be a life cycle, like adding a new device model to UIM if it is available. So I think it should come as part of the process, rather than it means like so once a new device model is getting into the system, that prior to getting it commissioned in the network, that device will be there available in the lab or some setup. Then you have to develop the model and Once we discover the devices, UIM should be in a position to have the model ready and to load the device instances into the system. So it should be defined in the process. Sudeep, do you have any comment on that, like how the new model will be onboarded to the inventory?
Line feature weer. Van niemand weet waar het gaat niet.
Hello,
Sorry,
Sudeep,
what
are
was
you
the
there?
question? Can you repeat that once again?
Herman basically want to know in the day-to-day activities what will be the different use cases will be coming. What use cases we are doing dealing with daily basis. So one scenario he's saying is like a new model has been identified. So what I said is like means like there should be a process to define will be defined to onboard a new model into UIM, which eventually like a developer has to create a model, design and create it in the UIM and deploy it in the UIM instance, and then we have to load that device. Are you aware of any like that process has been defined, like
No,
to
as
onboard
such,
a
no
new model?
process. No, we have not. We have, completed the delivery, and we have not decided on any process as such. But only one thing I can say that uh, right now, you know that there is integration between G Small World and UIM, right? So
Yes.
when a new type of equipment is being planned and that is being designed in G Small World in a certain fashion, we decided that that particular model, if it is a new model, that will be created in UIM as well. Okay, separately,
Yeah,
right? Now, at the point of designing the equipment in the G Small World, these two things for a new device type could be aligned. But in reality, the existing device types in G Small World and UIM is not aligned. But that will not impact the G Small World UIM integration as such, because the integration is at the rack level, right? And then once you identify the type of rack, then you are creating the entire hierarchy in UIM. Correct.
yeah.
So I think one process, starting from the planning and then designing in the physical layer, somewhere at that point of time, I think the support process needs to be defined, right?
Right,
So
right.
whenever a new process equipment will be coming in G Small World, that has to be defined in UIM as well.
As well
So
as
So
I think
NI,
we
I
this,
suppose.
yeah,
Because you, as soon as
yeah,
that equipment is in the network, you are going to discover it, and then you also need to have it in NI. So it's all three,
right.
or am I to understand it correctly?
yeah, that
Right.
is also
So
correct. That is also correct. Yeah, Irshad, you're saying something?
yeah, so means what I meant to say is like the NI model will be derived from the UIM. So UIM model and the NI model shares the same OCIM like the definition of the entities. So once we have the like because it is from both from Oracle only. So once we have the UIM model, they will have a generic kind of model. I think NI when you are going through NI, they might have explained it like there is a property file. So the specific model in UIM will be mapped to a generic model in your NI. So like we don't have to have the same exactly the same copy of the model in NI. NI will have a generic kind of let's say like there is a ASR 9K device and it has a kind of SFP card. So this SFP card is like a 20 gig card. So in UI NI specification might be Cisco card something, but UIM will have a detailed specification, but based on the serial number or part number in the property file that will be mapped to a generic specification in NI. So what I meant is these things like configuring this model, like creating the cartridge, the model in the cartridge of NI and UIM. This will come to the admin obviously, but when this will come, like at the point the discovery failed for a device, and then you will identify it is a new device, then you have to go to the design studio and create the model for that. Will it will be in that fashion, or whether it will be, you will be prior informed prior to that that a new device model has been commissioned and you have to develop a model that for that and discover it. So that is something like I am not sure like how it will be.
Okay, understand.
Yeah. But we can give you an overview of a design studio and how to basically import the cartridges and see. I think you might have already got the cartridges, and have you done the setup of design studio in your
No,
machine?
we only discussed
Okay.
yesterday about the software, and um, Archana and Chaitanya was going to. What did we agree, Archana, that you were going to get the software and put it on the Vodacom network? Well, you have got it, but put it on the network.
If you want, then I can, but I'm not sure. Like how, it's a quite a huge file actually.
Herman, I would suggest one thing.
Hmm.
Like in the Oracle documentation, you will see like how to you might be aware of, you might be using Eclipse right already as part of your experience like in the IT, like
Yes. I didn't. I preferred NetBeans for all my projects, but I have used Eclipse.
okay, you have used Eclipse. So, and Design Studio is something like a plugin on top of Eclipse. So, the Oracle documentation, you can Google it also. You will find documentation, and you will be able to download the from e-delivery platform of Oracle the Eclipse plugin for Design Studio. So, so going future, you will be confident on how to apply plugin for Design Studio on Eclipse if you do it in that way, rather than be sharing the applied one in the Design Studio. We can do that, but still I suggest like if you want to have a new version, if you want if you tomorrow if you are upgrading, then you'll have to have a new version of Design Studio with the upgraded plugin of Eclipse. At
Yeah.
that time also you can do the, so I think
Oh,
that will be a better,
I
like if
don't mind
I
doing
can
that.
I can give you the details. I will send an email from where to get the document, where the documentation is there for Design Studio, how to apply the plugin.
If you can do that,
I'll
I
do that.
would appreciate it, because as far as I could tell, it looked like the plugin isn't available, freely available.
Okay, okay.
So
What
I
I will
don't
do,
know.
I can access e-delivery. I can download the plugin and share it with you and the
That will
documentation.
be that's all I really need, because uh,
Okay.
I mean, like the documents that you're seeing there on the screen, I didn't ask you for those.
Yeah.
I can get those.
Right. Right.
The
Right.
stuff that
Right.
I
That
don't
is
have
available.
access to, that's what I need.
Yeah. Sure. I will provide that.
Thank you.
I will take that. Yeah. And other than that, like most of the questions you asked on that document in the comments, I have updated. I think some few questions are there. I will update it and share it with you today. And apart from that, like, do you have any other queries as of now?
Yes, so in our discussions yesterday, um, we were talking about, just at a high level, the architecture of UIM in terms of the managed server 1 and managed server 2. So my question was, if one of the managed servers go down, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
What will the users experience a problem or not? Because there's also the load
So
balancer,
if
right? So I don't know if the load
yeah,
balancer will
so load
automatically start routing to the one that's still alive.
yeah, the new request, whatever it is coming. So on the round robin basis, whatever available resources are there, available managed servers are there. like it will be the request will be routed to that managed server. Suppose as we have only two managed servers, one goes down, the request will be served by the second managed server.
So the load balancer
Through
will take care of it.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So, but if some service some request is being processed by the system, like and on the go, if some failure happened, if the if that particular request will be served by one node, it will be automatically migrated. I think that will not happen. Server will go down, but the new request, with new login request or new whatever coming from the GUI from the HTTP request, it will be routed to the available node, available managed server.
Okay. So what you're saying
Yeah.
is all the users that were logged into the one that dies, their applications are
Mm.
going to die.
I think they will have to log out, and again, if they try login, they will get a fresh page on the managed server too.
Does the load balancer only forward your request, the login request, to one of them? So it's not like each and every request is routed to a different one, only the login. So when you log in, you're routed to either managed server 1 or 2, and then you stay on that one. Is that how it works?
Correct, correct, correct,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Thanks. That clears up a lot.
Okay.
And then we were also talking about monitoring of the log files. And you also, now when you were talking about the use case where there's some issue, for example, in the, say, in the small world interface, and I need to check in the logs to try and figure out what's going on. So the question is,
Yeah.
what logging does the application do? Your custom code, does it use the same scheme? I know it's using log4j, so in other words,
Yeah.
would I be able to switch on more logging to try to resolve issues? Or how do I get more, say, debug logging information in the log file? Is that possible?
Yes, like I think it is already there in that readiness document, like how to change the logging level from severe to info, that is already there, and it is there in the admin guide also. If you want the Oracle documentation, you can get it from there. And apart from there, there is a NoHap log also. If some one way to debug, and other is like the UIM managed server log, so managed server 1 and managed server 2, there will be logs.
Do you know
So if you go
where
through
in
that
this document that is? You were saying it's in the readiness document.
logger configuration is there. Logger configuration, you go there, 15 I think. What is
Oh,
mentioned
yes.
there?
Okay.
Yeah, so
Now it's coming
yeah,
back to me
here
now.
you can change the configuration. Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, this was describing sort of high level. Okay, so you can specify the package name. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
correct.
And you in all your custom code, you make use of this to log information. It obviously depends on the code,
Right.
on whether the code is logging anything. Otherwise, it won't help trying to switch it on.
Correct. If you see, if we are debugging some internal API behavior or something, or suppose we are debugging something, if it is a product code issue or the platform code issue or something, or a custom code issue, like you can change the package name here and see whether it is that exception is coming in your package from the log. And other way is you can put a debug statement or a sysout and have a look at the nohap log, which will come in the UIM home pin. So that
Um,
also one.
so if there is an issue at the moment, say with a small world integration,
Okay.
how do you investigate that? Because you can't add sys.out print line statements in the production environment, and the problem is only happening there. So how do you reproduce the problem to try to resolve it?
Okay, one way what we will do is like we can get the request XML, we can request the other team like the XML file, and we can try it in our local with the data create with the same data like so you'll get some kind of understanding. You can simply fire this request from the SOAP UI, the SOAP XML request, and try to see what is the behavior with that build of the code. Other like that is one way. So other way is like with the current means like some if it is coming from the internal UIM API issue, some let's say some data mismatch, some data format issue, or some kind of data issue which is creating which makes internally UIM to throw the error UIM internal API libraries, then you will get a validation exception from UIM kind of. So this validation exception will be thrown from the UIM product code. So this validation exception you can use for your further investigation. So like so you can assert something from that validation exception. Why it has been failed? So some mandatory parameter is missing on the creation of some entity in UI. So let's say like if you're creating a IP address in UIM, and you have subnet, you have missed the subnet or something, then you will get a validation exception thrown from the UIM side that subnet is missing or prefix is missing, like that. So this kind of response you'll get. So that is one way to debug it based on the validation exception of something which
But
is coming from
the
UIM.
validation exception, I would expect that to be sent back to the requesting system so that they could
Yeah,
fix it there.
so yeah, that's a means like if the exception handling is
Yeah.
properly, then that would be the case. Like, but whether we have defined that error code uh, for that particular reason, or if it is a unexpected scenario or scenario which was not tested, and
Yes.
that
Okay.
validation exception.
Okay.
Uh, in that case, it may not happen. We will have to maybe we will identify it as part of our
Okay.
debugging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So in that case.
so, and let's say I do the debugging and I see there's a simple little issue in the code, easy to fix. What
Yeah.
then? Do I then
Uh,
does it get deployed first? Does it have to be go to the what did Chetana call it?
that-
Uh, TCOE or something environment?
no. It will not go through TCO environment. So yeah, if it is a production bug or something, we have to accept it as a bug and then fix it. So once fix it, we can test it, and I think TCO will not come into picture for this kind of issues. TCOE is so suppose you are doing a new release or new patch or something, then it will go to TCOE. But for a bug which is raised in the system and all, you fix it in the development and apply same in the production release. Have the release note. So then like deploy it in production. That's it.
Okay. So I think it might be worth doing a walkthrough of that.
Uh, Walk through
Okay,
of.
so what I'm thinking of many things, but so you're saying a release note. So I don't know where that goes, where to put that. You're saying patch. I don't know if you're making a change. The code is sitting in Git, so the code gets cloned out of Git. I make a change. Do I change the primary Java file and book that in and build it and deploy it, or is there some patch scheme that you follow to put the code into a patch that gets loaded? So I've got many questions
Yeah.
on exactly how this works.
Okay. So once you get the latest build from Git, you check out it and load it into your Eclipse, import into Eclipse Design Studio, do the configuration for web services, then build it, then means after change you build it and you will get a deployable var. So this war file has to be included in the custom EAR, which is a part of UIM deployment. So once I think Archana, have we documented this anywhere? You have any idea this web service deployment and all?
No, Nishad, I didn't saw that in any document till now.
I need to check that. So there is a there is a two kind of deployment. One is a cartridge deployment. I think that we have already covered in
Yeah, that
I
is
think in the
documented.
document. In this document.
Yes, that
Yeah,
is.
Yeah.
I saw that in this document. Yes.
Yes. So, but the custom web service deployment, I think we need to update that. I will do that. I means the with the screenshots and steps given. So those are two different way how we deploy a cartridge and how we deploy a custom web service or any web service. So this web service. So once this deployable war file is built, we have to include it as part of our in the custom ER. So in the custom ER manifest so there that everything will be there that I can share you the sample custom ER and or you can log into WebLogic console of any dev or production. From
Mm.
there you can download that custom ER. I think from there you will see a WSDL
The deployed
of the
applications.
existing web service and yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
what are the WSDL deployed there? You can test that WSDL. You know that WSDL URL you can load into your SOAP and generate the request XM, requests. You can try simply from your side also, from SOAP.
Mm.
You
Mm.
can play around.
Yes.
So that is one thing. So I think you will be aware of the how the WebLogic console looks, and I think you might have already tried logged in and
I
seen
have not
things
because I
around.
still don't have access.
You don't have a VPN connected, or
No,
how you don't have?
I don't have even a
Oh, okay.
Vodacom account yet.
Oh, okay. I think it is then too early. I think what I will do, I will provide the documentation. Like in the same document, I will update
Mm.
section for custom web service deployment also.
Yeah.
Then I will share it,
Okay.
and you can have a look.
I was
Okay.
wondering, Sudeep, is Sudeep still on?
Sudeep, are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Sudeep, in terms of the handover meetings, look, I don't know what all the internal discussions and things and pressures that are going on, but is there any possibility that we could just pause the handovers at least until I've got access to the Vodacom environment, or is there some sort of other pressure to get this handled or completed by the end of next week?
Yeah, that is plan to complete that next week. By next week, it was our plan actually. Uh, so for your access site to be is not, can't you get it expedited by through Zanele?
I can try that.
Yeah, please try that. I think she will be able to help you out.
Okay. Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, please drop a mail to her. I think
All right,
she should.
do that. Yeah, so once I've got that, then I can try. Then I can actually log onto the machines and look around for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
Get
very
the
important.
software and yeah. At the moment, it's very difficult for me because I don't have any. There's no practical It's just all these documents that I have to work through, and I can't look at it physically.
No, just try by Monday to phrase that you are not able to access because handover is getting how it was.
Sorry, Sudip, you're breaking up a bit.
Yeah, I'm saying please raise to Zanele that because of the access your handover is
Transmissions.
getting impacted. Hopefully it should be sorted out in a day or two. Let's see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it this this is a right. So this is a doc. Right, right. Yeah, so I have put my comment on this. So I will update. I will share the document soon. So, how it is, like I have changed that also. I have updated that section. And one thing is there is a access documentation provided. So yeah. So that has screenshots how to raise a request for resources from the access ARM white pages to the user.
But that
So
is
that has
basically
all the
only
details.
this block. Am I right?
Uh, yeah. So, but approval of request, new
Yeah, that's
request.
fine. You see,
I
where I start
think
to wonder is where it says this, for this. This one sentence doesn't help me one bit.
yeah. Right. So I don't know. Means who is the admin who will provide who will approve the access request to whom the request will come. Sudeep, to whom will it go to Zenele or it will go to ops team? How?
Is it for a new user request?
Access request from ARM web pages for the sources.
So is not that something is mentioned in the user access manual?
It is a user guide to how to raise the system and which all resources against which all resources you have to raise a request. What Herman is asking about the admin related activities, the backend activities which will be related approval of this request and assigning the role, etc.
Approval of the request. Okay.
So approval, all of this is probably all internal in Vodacom stuff. I don't know the user creation, role assignment, all these things. Okay, this looks. I don't know if this is this is RowPro, so I don't know how your UIM and NI ones will look. But the issue is
So,
the
so
internal things. I need to understand what to do.
So it is a LDAP, Vodacom LDAP. So I am sure that it will be the same. Only the requested resources will change, but the process or something to approve and assign and onboard a resource to the LDAP, I think a user into the LDAP, I think it will be the same process. I think Sudeep can comment. Only the resources should be different.
So in your software, do you create the user, or does it get
No,
created
no.
automatically?
It
Or is
It
it
will
only
be
authenticated against
in the
LDAP?
LDAP. Yeah, it will be in the LDAP. So once the user has sufficient privileges and against the role and the resources, that user will have the access to those resource, that is the UIM production, your UIM application prod or dev, like that. Resources has been defined.
Do all the environments use LDAP?
Do all?
All
What did
environments
you
use
ask?
LDAP, even dev.
No, no. In production, in UI, in dev, we are having internal LDAP. There we create the user,
In
like
WebLogic.
there we have just created an admin user, like that. We are using the only admin
Oh,
user. Yeah.
okay. In terms of the different roles that are available, is that documented anywhere?
Um, that is there in the Oracle documentations.
Okay.
In the admin guide, it is there. Yeah.
So you use the standard product roles. There's nothing specific
Yes.
to
Yes. Yes.
Vodacom.
Nothing specific, because Vodacom production we have the external tab. So then the roles as be defined as per the product definition, like a standard role.
Okay.
But we have done data partitioning. Uh, so data partitioning in the sense, like the user with some role, some groups will be like will have access to that particular domain data. I think Archana can better explain that. I think she has. Archana, are you there?
Yes, what you're asking?
About partitioning. Is it available in any document, that data partitioning thing?
Document, I'm not sure actually.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is like we created many users and assigned roles to those users, and uh, according to roles, that user can access to that. Right, that one you're
Yeah,
asking, correct?
yeah, right.
Yeah, but I'm not sure whether that is documented or not.
Can you check that about the data
Yeah,
partitioning? Okay, if it is not there, please update in the document. Okay.
yeah, sure.
So, if I understand you correctly, there will be different roles for different, call it technologies or domains.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And that will be Vodacom specific.
Correct, correct.
And those
Yeah.
are maintained in LDAP as well, or assigned and
Yes,
maintained.
yes. That is maintained in the external tab. Yeah.
Yes.
Irshad, are you sure that you have created domain specific roles? I was asking Devendra what is.
I think it was
Just
tested. It was Archana.
check with
Are you aware?
Devendra once also.
I need to check about that.
Is it?
Like he was doing something, but I'm not remembering right
From
now.
tables,
I'll
I
check
can
that.
see partition has been created from table database, like for specific data, for a specific technology, that partition has been defined in the table data from the
Yes,
backend.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
But I
So
don't think
like
it's
you,
tested. Just check once with Devendra if possible.
yeah, I will check that. I will check that and then. So two things which I will share it with you. One is the Design Studio thing, the Eclipse plugin, and the other one was this thing, like steps SOP for custom web service deployment. So that I will provide in the document. Uh, I think that will help. Okay.
and then also
Any
the
anything?
roles you're talking about now.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. That Archana will confirm. Archana.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, I read in the document now, I can't remember whether it was specific to, I know it's in NI, but I can't remember whether there's something like this in UIM for email notifications.
Yeah.
Do you
So
have that in
I have
UIM?
updated my comments in the document. So there is a property file that I have mentioned in that comments in the property. I think you have asked this question on
Oh,
the
okay,
comments.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how to
I
configure
will
it
share.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay, okay.
I have mentioned the property file path also. Yeah.
So on this, you will do this for UIM as well, the backup and
The business
restore and all
continuity
that.
management. Yeah. But like. Do we have any like process specific to UIM for this like backup restore? I need to check because this template was provided in like a RoPro thing was updated there, but I don't know like we have this thing in UIM. I will update it accordingly. This part I haven't updated. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you already said, I can't remember who said it, but you said that you generally don't copy the production database to the development environment. Because that is one of the reasons for this question is um, in my background, what we used to do is on a frequent basis, we used to make a copy of the production database, and that goes to QA and to development, so that if you're doing development or testing, that you are testing it against relevant recent data. Because as you just mentioned earlier, is sometimes the data also breaks the software.
Correct.
But from what I understood from Archana yesterday is that you don't actually do that in this environment.
Yeah, we normally don't do the backup and the restore the production data for that particular purpose. In this implementation, we are
Yeah.
not doing that. Like
Yeah. So
she's right.
there's never a need really to do a restore of an environment or especially of a database.
Mm,
So I don't need to actually worry about that. It's not something that I will need to do.
right. If you have also that you can raise a request to the DPA team. So they are having the backup.
Okay.
They will be able to restore it in the required environment.
Yeah.
You were asking, I think the teams also with the what all Vodacom teams you will be interact and their contact details, like
Yes.
the
Yes.
Linux team, the DPA team. I will update in the document. I think
Okay.
that question is already there. Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
it was there. You're right.
Yeah.
And then okay. So I won't need to restore it, but is there any in terms of monitoring? Do I need to monitor
Mhm.
anything on the backup process? Is there anything to do there?
To be fair, from our side, we don't do any monitoring or backup or restore. So if
Yeah,
we want some backup, we can. It is like a single point of contact for us, the DBA team.
yeah.
So if we have any DBA related issue, if the database is down also, or some a password issue or something, we reach out to them.
Okay. And the backup of the application server, does that happen as well?
Backup of the application server, we have the DR instance, and we used to do the rsync.
Oh, you did mention
So
that.
that is, yeah, yeah,
So you sync that to the DR server. Actually,
yeah, right.
uh, So how does that work? Do you have
That is supposed to like be scheduled, we are planning to do that, means we have done it once only as of now. So our sync is something like incrementally it will sync. So if some delta changes is there, it will pick the delta changes and do the sync.
and you sync? Do you sync the managed server one to managed server one?
Yeah, it is like file system to file system changes. So
Yeah,
it is not the web logic level. It is not in the application server level. It is file system sync,
partition. Yeah,
the Linux. Yeah.
but the reason for why I'm asking that is because you've got two VMs,
Yeah.
which use shared storage, and on the other side you've got the
Shared
same
store, right?
thing. So that's why I'm
Yeah, with the
wondering
shared.
what do you sync, from where do you sync, and to where do you sync? But when we looked at it
So
yesterday, Archana was logging in and she was showing me what the server looked like, what the layout is, and it looks
okay.
like what you do is you've got the storage mounted to managed server one, and then on managed server
Mm.
two you create like a mapped partition, which is like a shared pointing to managed server one. So if it's exactly the same thing on the DR side, then it would make sense
Yeah.
that you rsync from managed server one to managed server one, primary to secondary.
VM1 to VM2, VM1. If we sync, every file will be synced, even because it is a shared store. Like even in VM, so we don't have to explicitly do rsync on VM2 because that files are already there sync because it's a shared storage.
But on the DR side, do you have exactly the same setup there?
Yeah, we have exactly the same setup.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
See, as far as the file system and database backup is concerned, check with the Gladys. There was some mail chain was going on. Gladys took some clarification from Vodacom support team, and they are already taking the backup on a regular basis. I think the full backup is taken and the file system
Yeah,
backup is taken. Eh?
they have the they have the database. I'm sure they are taking on daily basis. Application, I'm not sure. Maybe you can forward that mail to me. I
Well,
never
just check
forwarded.
with Gladys once. She took some. I will check my emails.
Okay, okay. I will ask her to forward that. I will
Yeah,
ask.
just ask her to forward that.
Yeah. But have you ever tried to access and the backups to test them?
To test the backup.
Because I've been involved in